Welcome back to Tome Travelers. I am your guide, Erica, and today we're doing a big unhaul. I've been meaning to do this. I have these books that I'm going to donate, most likely to my library, because they need books. So, and I don't know if they have these or not, but some of these are in pretty good condition. So let's start. I have to grab them, they're down there. The first one is The Troop by Nick Cutter. I didn't read this, and I was going to. It looked really good, but when Kayla from Books and Lala reviewed it, I go, that might not be my horror. There's a lot more body horror, body gore. And as I've gotten older, as much as I love my horror, I can handle a titch or some, but no. And I want to read Wilder Girls. That didn't sound so bad. I think there was less body gore. But when she was describing it, I'm like, no, absolutely not. Get out of here. So basically, it's like a DNF. I didn't even read it. And I'm like, no. Oh, dear Lord. This one. Oh, The Troop. I just want to say I purchased, and I think I purchased it from, oh my God, was it Borders at the time or Books A Million? Bam, at the time. I don't even remember now. This switched so many times. This one's called Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. This was a book given to my mom just recently to give to me. This is romance. No, thank you. But if you want to know what it's about, Angel expects nothing from men but betrayal. Sold into prostitution as a child, she survives by keeping her hatred alive. And what she hates most are the men who use her, leaving her empty and dead inside. A man who seeks his father's heart in everything, Michael Jose obeys God's call to marry Angel and to love her unconditionally. Slowly, day by day, he defies Angel's every bitter expectation until, despite her resistance, her frozen heart begins to thaw. Nerves still, I guess. But with her unexpected softening come overwhelming feelings of unworthiness and fear, and so Angel runs back to the darkness, away from her husband's pursuing love, terrified of the truth she no longer can deny. Her final healing must come from the one who loves her even more than Michael Hosea does, the one who will never let go. A powerful retelling of the Book of Hosea, Redeeming Love is a life-changing story of God's unconditional, redemptive, all-consuming love. Nothing against Christian literature at all. Nothing. I have different beliefs. Yes, I do believe in God, for sure. But you believe what you want to believe. That's all I say. I'm one of those that, whatever religion you are, that's fine with me. I have no qualms about that. I accept people of all faith because, that's just who I am. I'm very accepting of people. But I don't like, let's just say the reason why I got away from my Protestant faith is because it was like they wanted you to go out and shove it into people's faces. I don't do that. I don't like it when people shove stuff down my throat, so I'm not going to shove it down yours. And I won't do that. It's not me. But when it's given, okay, it's a nice gesture, thank you. But this is mainly a romance. And I know there's religion in it, and I can't. If I want to do religion, I'm going to go read the Bible that I have, the Holy Bible. I think I have 2 different versions right now. One that I got when I was 6, one that I bought because it was a better version. But nah. So okay, I found this book on my bed. I'm like, My mom knows that I don't like romance. What is this book doing here? And she got it from her friend. No. No. And that same friend gave this book to my mom, and mom's like, hey, go donate to this library. I don't want this book. It's called Dangerous to Know by Barbara Taylor. I'm reading this backwards. Bradford. What is this book about? Sebastian Locke. Oh dear. The 56-year-old patriarch of a powerful American family is handsome, charismatic, and a man of immense charm and intelligence. He is the chairman of the philanthropic Locke Foundation, funded by the vast family fortune built by his forefathers. Committing to relieving the suffering of those in genuine need, Locke travels the globe giving away millions a year to the poor, the sick, and the innocent victims of natural disasters and wars. He is seen as a beacon of light in today's darkly violent world. There's more. But it sounds boring. I can see why Mama gave it to me to donate. That's a no-no. This one's called Gone South by Robert McCammon. And I had it. It was given to me by my mom. I don't know where she got it from. I was interested, and then I read it again, and I'm like, I'm not that interested. So it's flooded by memories, poisoned by the deadly fallout of Agent Orange, and desperate for work, Dan Lambert kills a man in a moment of blind fear and fury. It is an act he cannot excuse. A mistake that will change his life forever. Now Dan is on the run, heading south to the Louisiana bayous. On his trail are police officers and bounty hunters, including the most memorable and bizarre team ever paired in modern fiction. Oh my god. Pelvis Isley, play on words for Elvis Presley, an Elvis impersonator of the worst kind, and Flint Murtaugh, a fastidious, ruthless loner and freak show refugee who carries the body of his unformed twin brother on his side. Okay. As Dan heads down into the swampland in search of his own salvation, he meets a young woman who is on a similar journey. Like Dan, Arden Halliday bears a great burden, a disfiguring purple birthmark that blankets half her face. Wounded by the stairs, by the pity and revulsion, she is making her way into the bayous in search of the bright girl, a legendary faith healer who will rid her of her birthmark and her suffering. Though on separate missions, Arden and Dan came to respect each other's quest for freedom, for a touch of simple kindness in a world grown cruel. Thrown together by circumstance, bound by a loyalty stranger than love, they set off on a journey of relentless suspense and impassioned discovery, an odyssey over dark, twisting roads and waterways into the beautiful, mysterious depths of the human heart. It was interesting at the time, and then I'm like, just doesn't sound like me anymore. Certain things I'm like, that's just not me anymore. I read this book a while ago, and I know I bought it at the bookstore, whether it was Borders or BAM at the time. I don't remember. But it's called Bowery Girl by Kim Taylor. At the new and rapidly expanding Cherry Street settlement house, one was not allowed to exit the door through which one came. No. Molly and Annabelle, who had come only for baths, were forced to trot by shining classrooms. The board near the exit was filled with many pieces of paper, offering lectures and classes on everything from the question of the woman's vote to typewriting. Anything of interest? There was a rustle of silk behind them. The woman who spoke was not much taller than Molly. Her eyes were light blue and sharp behind her glasses. The do-gooder, Miss Dupree, one of those odd ones, with money and a college education, hell-bent on changing the poor. I'd be interested in knowing where we're going to take baths, Molly said, now that you've removed them all. Just making room. As you can see from the board, we're adding classes. Sewing, reading, mathematics, typewriting, morals, housekeeping. I know cleanliness is next to godliness, but typewriting? You teach reading, Annabelle asked. And we have a board for jobs. We've got jobs. Thank you. Molly said, I'm a thief and she's a whore. We could teach classes if you like. I think that's part of the book. But it's set in 1883. And the thief is Molly and the prostitute is Annabelle Lee. Annabelle Lee. Reminds me of Edgar. They don't have family. They don't have education. And they live in a tenement apartment. Yeah, I read it. I liked it. I didn't like it. I think if I was to rate it now, I'd give it maybe 2 to 2.5 stars. It was good, but it wasn't that great. And I mean, it was like kind of good in the beginning, but it just kind of fell flat near the end. It was falling flat midway, but I'm like, I'm interested in what happens, so it wasn't that memorable. Now this little thing, The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, is an exclusive, a special gift from Book of the Month Club. And I'm giving it up because I'm not interested. I would have to read her again, but this sounded like something I've read before. It's horror, paranormal. A canny young woman is struggling to survive by perpetuating various levels of mostly harmless fraud. On a rainy April morning, she is reading auras at Spiritual Palms. See, that turns me off right there. When people are fake. Because there's people out there that are real. Just saying. I got an eyelash in my eye. Or I got an itchy eye. So I think it was a cute little book. I never read it. I was never interested. It just didn't appeal to me. So now I'm going to give this to my library. I'm breathing heavy because I was walking around chasing kids. Running around. So I'm like, Well, one kid. The oldest is asleep because he had to get up early for school. My youngest is a night owl like mommy. This will be fun next year when he has to go to school. Kindergarten next year. Oh, dear Lord. Cemetery of Angels by Noel Hind. I never read it. Again, I think it's paranormal. Yeah. For Bill and Rebecca Moore and their 2 children, the move to Southern California is a dream come true. Surrounded by gracefully swaying palm trees, their new neighborhood is truly a place apart, an oasis of serenity in the lost paradise that is modern Los Angeles. Nearby is a star-studded cemetery. Ooh. A tribute to the myth and glamour of a Hollywood that has never really died. There's even an eerie legend, attached to the Moore's house that they find very quaint and atmospheric, until their son and daughter vanish without a trace. Oh, and then it goes on about that. At the time, it was interesting, and now I'm like, it probably is a good read, but I'm just thinking to myself, it could be as predictable as movies that I've seen, other books that I've read. I mean, come on. Part of my history is horror. Born and raised on horror movies, horror books. I love it. I really do. Let's see what we got here. With no explanation. It's a Glenn Beck book. An inconvenient book. I read it. It was alright at that time. No more political books except for memoirs. This is not a memoir. And I realize now, I'm like, I'm an independent. I vote for who I think will do a good job and says they're going to do what they're going to do, whether they do it or not. So go out there and vote in November, please. Register to vote. Please vote. Make sure you can vote, because that's the most important thing you can do. And maybe someday they'll get rid of that electoral college, because sometimes I feel if somebody wins by popular vote, that was the people who voted, and really that person should have won. Just saying. Because I think that makes me feel like my vote doesn't count. So why have an electoral college? All right, now I'm getting off my high horse. But just please go vote. A Travel Guide to Heaven by Anthony DiStefano. I know I read it. I think I read it and I just don't remember. Well, it says most Americans believe that there is a heaven, but many have difficulty conjuring up images beyond angels and flowing robes with harps and halos. I think this is like near-death experiences and stuff. And I know there's a heaven. I know what it looks like. Alright, Dean Koontz Hideaway. Some of you are going to scream like, it's a good book! Read it! No, I don't feel like reading it. I don't. There's sometimes... yeah. I'm not interested in... some things I'm just like, nowadays I'm like, I have so much. Do you want to know how many books I have right now after all this? And I have a book coming. When that book arrives, it'll be 499 books. I read maybe 150 out of that whole entire library that I've been collecting since I could buy my own books or get books as gifts. Doesn't help when I'm book of the month and Amazon wish list. Woo! Books aplenty. Yeah, I have a mini library. This one, The House by Bentley Little, it's a duplicate. I have hardback, and it's in the bookshelf, so I can't grab the hardcover. But this is in pristine condition, so I don't need the paperback since I have the hardcover, which leads to other dupes. Yes, I have two because I didn't know that I had this. Lincoln Child's The Death Match. So, hardcover stays, paperback goes. Ah, classic. Roots by Alex Haley. Hardcover stays for sure. Paperback goes. I gotta make sure whose edition this is. Is this my mom's edition? I don't know whose edition I'm keeping. But I'm getting rid of the paperback. I didn't realize that I had. Actually, my mom had it, and I forgot. This is mom's, I believe, because I know she had hardback. Paperback goes. I also have the sequel to Roots, which is Queen. Definitely gonna read this someday. I'm gonna make a game out of that. So that's everything that I'm unhauling right now. A lot of books. But I was reorganizing my only bookcase. I need to get more bookcases. I've got books in boxes. I've got a box over there that has all my Harry Potters, all my Lemony Snickets, another small little series, Patrick Carmen's series for, it's either middle grade or young adult. I have books that my mom gave me. They're mostly Richard Lehman. He's been dead, and those books are worth something, so those will be kind of last to read because I'm like, I'm not really interested in reading those right now. Especially when she says, there's a lot of sex in there. I'm like, yes, horror and sex. That's what it's about. That's what this has it too. Don't let Bentley Little fool you. It was a good book. I read it. The hardcover. It's a good book. Scared the living shit out of me. If I could read that right now, I'd probably give it 4 stars. Because of the sex where it wasn't needed. I don't care if there's sex in it, just when it's necessary, please. But it was a good book. It scared me. I couldn't read it at night. Because I lived in a house that was kind of haunted. So I'm like, yeah, I didn't like reading it at night because I'm like, I felt like shit would happen if I read it at night. Reading it during the day or somewhere else, more comfortable. But those are all the books I'm getting rid of. I don't want these books, especially when I have duplicates. Now that I have an app that I can go and go, oh, I already have this book. Ha! No more duplicate purchasing. So I don't know where a lot of these books came from. My mom, the older ones, but some of them I already bought. Some of them were given to me. You know, I just don't need them. So, thank you for watching. Thank you if you subscribe. Please subscribe. And I shall see you next time. Comment below. Email me. My social medias are down below in the description. I'm mainly on Goodreads. I need to get into my Instagram, but I'm like an old lady. I'm learning to try to use it. So, I swear, the older I get, the more I feel like my mother. Like, what is this for? Technology. Oh my goodness. I like the technology in video games right now. Graphics are, since the days of Atari. Oh, Atari and Intellivision were born before me. So, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, comment, share with whoever. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.